Hi, my name is Dylan. I'm an aspiring sound designer for video games with a wide range of audio experience from recording to post-production editing and music composition. But those skills are just half the battle. Hiring developers are looking for years of experience with game development tools as well, so I'm planning a project to show I can do it all. My goal is to develop a game demo in Unity that'll demonstrate a mastery of sound design, music composition, and implementation using Wwise. I'm going to make a third-person semi-open world adventure demo with a realistic art design that focuses on exploration and stealth. Think spiritual successor to Stray, but instead of a kitty cat, you play as a dog, and instead of a sci-fi futuristic city, the setting is a dense, magical forest. To bring this world to life, I'll be focusing on creating a dynamic movement system for the playable character, immersive and spatialized environment audio, original music cues, and lastly, we'll develop an ability called Instinct Mode, a sort of Witcher Sense knockoff where the player uses their heightened sense of hearing and smell to track objects and enemies. I've also recruited my lazy roommate to help me record some original audio to use in the game. So without further ado, let's get into it. In this episode, I'm going to set up our character controller, implement a variety of footstep sound effects for different terrain surfaces, and design realistic variations for the player speed sets. First thing to do for any ambitious project is create a tracker to help stay on the rails. This spreadsheet will organize the tasks I need to complete, dictate priority, and track the time it takes me to complete each task. If we look at our audio middleware, a clean and empty Wwise session where all our audio will be edited and implemented. Next, we have our blank Unity HDRP, where our game assets will live. Speaking of, the art style I'm going for requires a level of expertise which I am incapable of achieving on my own, so I'm turning to the Unity Asset Store for some help. For the forest environment, I'm looking at Nature Manufacture for their Mountain Environment Pack and River Auto Material 3 to get realistic nature out of the box. For our character, I chose Malbur's Animation's Realistic Fox, because it's cute as hell and it works seamlessly with their character controller asset. After hours of YouTube videos filled with mathematical equations and code I didn't understand, it was clear I was a long way out from creating a usable character controller from scratch. And with the imminent increase in the price of V-Bucks, I needed to get this project done quick to up my chances of landing a new job so I can stay dripping on Fortnite. And, pay for rent and shit. While on the subject of money, I also picked up this Final IK asset, and you may have noticed it wasn't cheap to get all these assets. Total cost, $344 USD. Not great for a young Canadian man like myself. I turned to Old Reliable for some help. With a coupon stack from the legends at Reddit, I'm able to knock that price down to $289 USD. More importantly, 410 CAD. To put that in perspective, the Wwise Fundamentals certificate is only 50 USD less than what I just spent. Not to mention, there are 3 more certification tests for even more money. I'm betting, literally, that buying these assets and creating a tangible game demo will showcase not only my Wwise skill set, but my understanding of game development as a whole, my technical problem-solving skills, plus shows a hint of personality as well. It'll all go further in getting me hired than any certification alone would. No hate for the certifications, both would be great. But funds are limited, hard choices have to be made, and this choice is a lot more fun. By the way, I made all the music and sound effects that you're hearing in this video, so hope you're vibing out. Malbur's Animal Controller is a comprehensive product with years worth of updates and improvements. It isn't perfect, but it has the building blocks for me to achieve everything I want my character to do and lets me focus on creating the best audio experience I can. It's outfitted with states and modes, which we will be diving into later for our instinct abilities, but today we're focusing on the stances and speed sets for regular, default, locomotion, and sneak. We'll be working in the Animator tab, where you already see the states set up. In the locomotion state, we have the default and sneak stances, with comprehensive blend trees of over 20 animations. To trigger the footsteps, I'm going to create an animation event on each frame a paw contacts the ground. I'll have to do that for pretty much every animation in the blend tree, and then for the trot and run animations, I'm not actually going to do an event per paw, but per stride, so we don't get double triggers that sound unrealistic. Lastly, we have to set up the function for those events, but first, we need audio. Back in Wwise now, we need to start with a player work unit and add a switch container. As a child to that, we create the first of our terrain types in a random container and then add audio files. For the footsteps, I found this pack from Game Audio Resource specifically designed for paw footsteps on a number of surfaces. It's not a one-to-one for what I need, but it has construction kits I can use to fill in the missing surfaces later. After importing, I normalized all the volumes and deleted any files that had tonal imbalances, then randomized the pitch variation and set up temporary values for the player velocity RTPC to dynamically control volume and high-pass filter. Then I made the footstep switch group. I assigned the corresponding random container to each group. I made a play footsteps event, and then generated sound banks. So before we jump back into Unity, let's listen to the footsteps so far. So, in the inspector, we have the raycaster script, which casts down from each paw and detects the terrain layer index number from the splat map. Then we have this enum script, which just helps direct the raycaster data to the next script. Wwise footsteps is what we set the function of each animation event to. We also indicate which paw is stepping, front left 0, front right 1, back left 2, back right 3. It sets the Wwise switch group based on what terrain index the raycaster is identifying on that particular paw and posts the event. Then we jump into the game, connect to Wwise, and test it out. I think that multiple animations are blending together and triggering a bunch of unwanted events and spamming footsteps, so I gotta fix this. Okay, I spent a great deal of the past couple days iterating and trying to solve this problem, and I ended up figuring out a simple solution: per foot cooldowns. The idea here is to set an individual cooldown for each speed set, so no foot can trigger a new event for a set amount of time. Sneak, walk, trot, and run were all working perfectly, but in ground speed set, the sprint index was just not activating. Eventually, I realized that Mulber set up these speed set indices, but for some reason index 4 for sprint didn't actually activate, so I had to update the code to also check for sprinting and not rely on active speed set index. And that seemed to solve the problem. Last thing I added was the Locomotion RTPC script, which reads which speed set index is active, but also has to check for sprinting again, and then sets the player velocity RTPC back in Wwise. Here are the updated curves for each surface type. I'll still go through them and individually adjust as needed, but I also linked a high shelf EQ curve at around 6K Hertz to reduce -3 dB for run and sprint and -6 for everything else. Let's give it a listen. And now that the basic movement system is done, we get to ask the question, does it sound good? In my opinion, it's a work in progress still, but it's all gonna come together in the next episode when I tackle designing the terrain and implementing ambient audio. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.